Hey everybody, welcome back to the stream. I realized actually last week how bad this audio was on this particular setup, so who knows, maybe eventually I will be swapping over to not using this particular setup, and I'll just bring my mic that I have at my work here, because that mic is way nicer. But hey guys, welcome back to a nice Tuesday morning stream. It is super early, especially after daylight savings. I feel like I'm going to die. But hey, welcome to the chat, C-Dubs and Keysign. Thank you guys for showing up on this beautiful Tuesday morning. It's a bit gloomy outside, not gonna lie. I'm like, I almost put a sweatshirt on before this, but I'm like, nah, we'll deal with it, you know? Yeah, boom mics are nice. I have like a podcasting mic, which is pretty cool. So like, it's just like sits right in front of me as I'm like talking. But yeah, so hey guys, today we're going to be jumping into a new shot. I don't have too much time because we're going to go watch Dune Part 2 again tonight. I had to watch it again tonight because it's going out of the Dolby Theater by this Thursday. So I was like, okay, I got to go jump into the theater and watch it in Dolby before it's gone forever. And yeah, so today we're going to be doing another practice footage shot. You can find that on the practice footage library. I have a link in the description below. If you go just scroll down, you can see practice footage assets. I'm also using a Nuke Gizmo, which you can grab here. It's free. Go ahead, grab that. If you guys want to do the same thing I'll be doing, it basically is going to be converting our footage into a kind of normalized sphere, so that way we can color grade from specific angles. But the particular shot that we'll be doing is the magical sci-fi shot. Where's that at? I'm going to scroll down here a little bit. Maybe I missed it. It's here somewhere. And actually, I think the link that I have actually goes directly to it, so you don't have to worry too much about this aspect of it. I should have clicked on that myself. Let's go ahead and just grab it real quick. This will take you to the actual page of the Sci-Fi Energy Ball, and I'm going to be using clip 1 here for our actual shot. I did some pre-work to it. Also, you can grab some of these assets. I'm going to be using some of these today as well. But this is the shot that we'll be doing, which is going to have some kind of interesting effects to it. I'm going to have light cross from behind her to in front of her. And all this is free, so go ahead and grab the clip from Action VFX if you guys want to practice with it. It's great. You can use it for your own show reels once you're done with it. Post it online, which, by the way, post it in our Discord. I also have a Discord that you can post in, and you can share your work and get feedback from other very talented artists as well. But without further ado, we really don't have too much time today because I only have till about 10 to do this live stream. Let's jump in. I want to show you kind of what I have here. Here's the actual plate that I have of the actual shot, and then I'll just play this back. I should have cached this beforehand, but it's okay. We will persevere. I cut the shot so that way it's not as long as the entire take was, and I made it just so that, you know, it goes from like this portion here, and my idea is that we'll have the magical effect go from her left hand over here to her right hand. But there's a few things you'll notice in this shot. First of all, but they didn't shoot on the day with like great practical lighting, so we're gonna have to try to create as much of that ourselves as possible. And that's the first thing you'll notice. Also, like, we can add some environmental lighting to like the specularities on the ground and stuff. We have full creative control over this shot because I am the director, and so we can make this look like whatever we want. I'm thinking going a little bit more of like a darker kind of like contrastier scene for this, and just to get that shot. But we're probably gonna have to blend between multiple magic effects elements is kind of what I'm thinking here. This is where I went with the comp. I first used, this is the vectors normalized gizmo that you can download from the Nukepedia website. But the first thing I did was I generated vectors based off of the actual footage. And what that does is it kind of creates the forward motion of everything in your scene, as well as the backward motion of everything in your scene. And you can customize to the amount of detail that you want to have. Like, I could crank the detail up on this, and that way we can see more specific vector detail as we're going through this. That gets fed into kind of like this vectors normalized, which creates this normal kind of output. Now, I don't know the math behind it. I just know it works for what I'm trying to do. It creates a different color for every side of the face that we're trying to do. And so we're going to use this. What I did was I plugged that into a difference and used a constant that I animated. And that gave us kind of like specifically the black area is where we want the gray to be at. And it kind of like puts everything else as white on our difference. And so what I would do is I just inverted that section. And let's see, we can even play this back. You can kind of see that it goes from that side of the face right there is kind of like where we're tackling it. And then it goes to the center of her face at the very end here. And see, we're not seeing from this side of the shot. We're only seeing on this side of the shot as like the alpha is concerned. Also with her fingers and her hand. And then as she's pulling it over here, when she looks over here, the magic effect will be more on her center of her face. We can even customize that, and I'll even show you because we have to create the jacket portion next. But I'm pretty happy with how this face turned out. It's super noisy, so then I would just take that and I blurred it. And then that would give us kind of like the rough area in which it's going to be shining on her face. So now we only have the light on a specific portion of her face. And I then further created a roto of just her in DaVinci Resolve, which is free. So go grab DaVinci Resolve and do the DaVinci Resolve stuff to get your roto mats, because like that's crazy. And then I just basically wrote it out the background because we only need it to have her. Hey, LazyCon, welcome in. Yes, Nuke Live. We do this weekly. So this is a new live streaming series that we're doing here. But that works for the face, I've noticed. And the only other thing is we're going to need the jacket here. It is interesting because like if this was like a legit normal, then it would actually get everything on the entire side of her and it wouldn't miss the jacket, but it's okay. You know, I'll take what we can get because this is just 2D footage that we're feeding it in the first place. So that's all in the alpha channel, and we can actually go and grade stuff based off of this. So if I took, let's just say this was our vector path, which we're just going to feed over into this area here. I want to regrade using the alpha channel that we are generating here. And if I go view that now, I have full control over her face to like just boost like specific portions of her face. And I'm even thinking we can add in a bit of a flicker to everything as well. Yeah, of course. Thank you for joining. We try new effects every week. I'm gonna add a flicker effect into this actually, rather than us animating it ourselves. But essentially, this is going to allow us to, add maybe like a bit of a blue kind of like effect to like a specific portion of her face, and we can get very precise with that as we're going. I'm gonna do her jacket next, so let's just go ahead and do everything here from scratch. We've got this as our constant right now, but we can feed in another difference node essentially. Let's do that again. And then we'll take the A input from there, and then the B input is going to go into another constant. So I'm going to create a constant image that we will be feeding this into. And the idea is that we are going to want to do like specific portions of the jacket and then kind of have it move over to the other side. So let's start with it kind of like facing this direction here. If I take this constant, I can click on like this section here, and what that's going to do is that's going to give us there we go. That's going to give us this angle here. I think I need to that should work. I don't know why I'm not getting the... Oh, that's right. It's making it black. What am I thinking? And then if we invert that selection, it will make that specifically white, and then we can also blur it. I'm also thinking I wanted to try this out. If we added more contrast into our shot, which we could do with a color corrector here, I'm wondering if we can actually just boost the saturation before we do any of our selections, as well as our contrast. Maybe not quite the contrast, but if we boost the saturation, it'll create more of a different slider. No, it's kind of all facing that same direction anyways. And then, let's see, our difference here, I'm going to adjust. Let's create. What did I use on this one? I feel like it was, yeah, it was like 75. Actually, this is all too much. 20 is pretty good. I might just do 10. Yeah, and then that way we're certainly not getting this side of the body here. Grabbing footage, lunchtime, and barely breakfast for you. Yeah, no, I literally woke up 30 minutes ago. So, you know, that's just how it be, man. That's just how it be. I think that blur right there is fine for the jacket. And then we can animate this, of course. So I'm going to set the keyframes for the RGB values here. And let's see. When we get to about here, I feel like, actually, you know what? It kind of, no, it doesn't. I'm gonna grab, this is a crazy one for sure. I think we're gonna have some issues. I'm just going to create a lot of keyframes as we're going. That's probably just going to be the easiest way of ensuring that we're not going to have any problems here. So you're basically just using the vector pass to the pworld pass for matting? Yes, essentially. I'm just creating a mat from our vectors and feeding that into the gizmo here that will generate the normals. It's doing all this fancy math behind the scenes that I don't know how it works. But it works. Normally, I work in a lot of CG, and normally we would be able to get this stuff through, you know, an actual normal pass. But having this inside of your comp gives you the ability to have it kind of below there. Let's see how bad this looks, huh? Let's see how bad this looks. I think right about here is where we go screwy. Oh, that's right. I need to select our actual node here. Oh, I see. Okay, so if we keep that at the pink. Let's see what that looks like again. Okay, so I'm gonna take this and then we'll do the same thing with kind of creating ourselves a mask to only create for the specific areas in which we need. I'm going to, this is getting a little messy here. It's fine. We clean up later. We don't clean up during. Also, really shouldn't use your merge like that. You don't want to dangle inputs in your comp. I mean, that's probably fair. I'll be honest. I'm not a classically trained VFX artist. I didn't go to school for visual effects. I say that classically trained VFX artist, it's probably not really a thing. I'm completely self-taught, so I do a lot of things that I probably shouldn't do. I guess my opinion always has been, like, if it doesn't cause any bugs, then maybe it doesn't matter that much, but that's probably not the best opinion to have. I do find that this input right here, of like creating like the B input right here, the B input just kind of like dangling it. Are you saying that I should feed a constant into it? Because I find this is the best way to create like an alpha really quickly. I suppose I could feed a constant into the B input and it'll do the same thing, but you know, I've always kind of just thought that this was, you know, unnecessary as long as my project settings reflect my actual project. So 2K DCP with the correct frame rate, I'm not having any issues with the B input. Yeah, you should use a Mac mode of the merge node and put the mat into the A. Oh, a mask. Okay, I gotcha. A mask mode of the merge. Intersecting. Never done this, so let me look into it. Why not? This is about learning. Also merge? No, I don't want to merge anything else. Operations over node. Oh, okay, I could disable. No. Mask? Okay, well, I'll look into that here in a bit. Let me just do screen for this. So now that's gonna put this the face on top of the body, and that's gonna give ourselves a mat of like where we want this like effect of the lighting to be. No constants. I didn't think constants was the right method. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, now let's go to the grade node here, and then I'm going to, let's adjust some of the settings here. I'm gonna use the mix node for this, so the grade is going to be what we're going to do on top of everything here. Let's go ahead and add in an expression, some kind of like flicker. We could do like that with a random, and then if we take the frame and we just divide that by 2, let's see, let's multiply that by 5, and then let's add 0.5 to it. It should give us like a nice randomness to our mix here. Look at the dope sheet here. Why is it called the dope sheet? Because it's pretty dope. Oh, sorry, the curve editor is what I was trying to look at. And okay, so that slows it down. Oh, whoops, what did I just do there? I accidentally just deleted my thing. And then this value is a little high. I think we should just adjust this real quick to multiply by like 2. and then we can offset everything. So let's just edit this to move this down a little lower. And that should work fine. I'll go save that. Save your comp, guys. Always save. And let's see what that looks like in playback with our kind of flicker that we added there for like our magical effect. We're probably going to tone everything down, so I'm not too worried about this right now. Now this is like just an easy way to get kind of like a strobing effect on like specific portions of her. I'm going to think, let's see, let's bring the lift down slightly on that. I'm also thinking that we can have like a bit of a flicker on the ground back here. As we're working on this, since we already have like kind of like a roto of her, we can make some adjustments there. Okay, and we might want to increase the intensity of the flicker later, but for right now, let's go grab some assets. So they've got all these great assets on here. I already have some downloaded, or, well, I already have some purchased, but just look and see what we could get here. I want to go from like kind of like this effect, like wah, and then boom, it kind of goes into the magical effect. So I've got like these energy bursts. I think some of these vortexes might work nicely too. Let's see. Yeah, let's use this. I'll just do it in 2K. Nothing high res for this. I'm going to also try something else new. Let's do that for the starter. I was gonna try this other method of taking this into DaVinci Resolve first, then creating kind of like blend shapes between the different assets, and then taking it back into Nuke, just to see what that kind of like workflow would look like. Right, that's a shockwave. I don't need a shockwave. That's a vortex. Oh, here we go. Energy balls. Yeah, like this one. Or yeah, let's do this one. So now the idea would be, as she takes it from here, it's like forming, and then vortex, and then ball, right? I'm going to, for our sake, let's just render out like a quick ProRes that we can drop into DaVinci Resolve and use as like our background. And let's see. Just do that real quick. I think, yeah, that's all fine. And I'm going to open up DaVinci Resolve, and then we will blend our assets in over top of each other, and then we'll come back into Nuke to recomposite everything here. But while I'm opening this, I just want to let you guys know, any of you guys new here, oh, my camera's actually all kind of like wacky. Let's just move that slightly. Hi, my name is Connor. I'm a VFX artist, and I do kind of general compositing, as well as I'm a generalist in like 3D as well. And on Sundays, on the weekends, we also do another live stream where we create an image from scratch. So if that's something that you might be interested in, why wouldn't you just blend in Nuke? I find the blend in DaVinci Resolve is really nice. I really like working with it. So I don't have a problem with jumping between the two softwares, and then I can kind of like get everything to time better inside of DaVinci based off of this. Also kind of wanted to try this workflow because Just wanted to see how it worked. If it doesn't work, then you're right. Nuke's probably a lot better. But just because you can do something in a software doesn't mean that it's always the best way to do it. I'm always trying out new things. And these live streams specifically are just to test out basically different workflows and ideas. Let's see, vortex. Let's see what we got here. So it's like it kind of starts to form. To do some blending between the three of these. And then let's see, let's go to this one right here. And we're gonna have to color correct between the three of them. Okay. And just have that scaled up. This is the only one that has like a completely different color than the rest of it. It's okay. We will make do inside of our grade. Let's see. I'm gonna find our video transitions, and then what do we have? It's like a blend. What is it? What do they call it in here? It's not. It's not smooth cut, I know that. Although it might be smooth cut, I can't remember what the name of it is. Actually, it might be smooth cut. Let's try that. Then let's see, that's fine for that, and then I like that transition. I just need this grade to be a little more blue. And this is what the effect will look like. Let's just fade that a little more like that. Make that a little longer to go between those. Whoa. Not at all happy with that. It's not what I want. Looks like a freaking dissolve. That's a little better. Okay, and now this is cut to the exact plate length that we need it. So I'm gonna go into our QuickTime here, or not QuickTime, I'm gonna change our preset here to EXRs. And let's just call this, need to browse for our location real quick. And under our VFX materials, gonna put this in here. Don't actually let's copy and save that. I'm gonna put that in here. And let's go ahead and save that with an underscore at the end of it. And for the file name, I'm going to make this 4 digits long, with each clip starting at 1,000. And I'm going to add that to the render queue here. Let's go ahead and render that out. I do lose my transparency, but I don't really care because it's all over black. It's VFX materials and our effect. This also could have gone under our plates folder. And I'm going to add in a merge node and kind of just merge everything on top here. Using like a plus. And I don't think I have to do this, but oftentimes I also like to reformat these to the project settings before you do your transform. And that really helps with making sure that all of your assets live inside the same resolution space. This was already set correctly, so I didn't have to worry about that, but now it's just positioning. It might be nice. We'll see if I need to have a specific roto of like any specific hand. I'm just gonna kind of like hand keyframe this because we can probably get away with a little bit of movement. Let's just see how this looks. Just kind of following her hand as we're going. Let's see, that's not perfect there. Although, interestingly, I'm going to add a transform in here. I want the height to be flopped. If we can get it to be this angle, that would be great. Do you have Nuke X or just non-commercial? I have Nuke Indie, actually, on this computer. And then at work, I use Nuke X. But I'm on my home computer right now. I might be getting Nuke X this next year. It kind of just depends. I don't think that I personally need it all that much on my home computer. It does make it nice to be able to mess around with some of the aspects of like not having to worry about like resolutions being smaller. But overall, you can pretty much do everything in Nuke Indie that you could do in Nuke X. The only annoyance is that I can't really do. I think you can't do as much scripting inside of Nuke Indie. Yeah, Indie isn't bad. It kind of has like all the tools that you need, and like especially if like normally you would only have like Nuke, not Nuke X. I couldn't imagine only having Nuke. I don't like this portion here. Although, let's see. I don't like this middle section here where it kind of like rotates, so we're going to have to redo that area. Yeah, that looks like shit. So we're not doing that. Yeah, let's just get rid of this middle section that we don't like. That's much nicer. I think you can use the 3D projection in just Nuke. Can you use 3D projection? I don't think you can do tracking in inside of regular Nuke. Can't you use some retime tools that are super necessary for a lot of stuff? Yeah, I know. I think that's where Nuke kind of like. I think you can do everything in Nuke Indie that you can do in Nuke X. I don't know that. Oops. I don't know that there's any limitations on Nuke Indie's part. I could be wrong on that. I haven't done like a really deep study on it. Let's take this. I kind of want to scale. I want it to fit in between our hands. And it's like it gets more contained as she like closes her hands up, I think. Let's follow the outsides of her hand a little bit better here. I'm going to do a little bit of roto work on her hand there. Oh, that looks terrible. I hate the scaling difference. I think the trick with this is going to be figuring out a Yeah, let's do it that way. If I have it follow kind of like that hand, it might be a little bit better. And then overall, let's see. Kind of thinking that we're not going to want this magical. Let's see, no animation, that's fine. That's okay. And then let's see. Oh, no. We don't need a keyframe on the grade. I'm going to use. Actually, no. Wings sound too good now. It's like I feel like I want that for lunch. It's like when somebody mentions pizza, it's like all of a sudden it's like that's what you want to have to eat. Overall, let's see. I'm fine with the flicker. We actually got pizza yesterday because I've been on a diet since like the beginning of the year, and I've got pizza yesterday to celebrate us hitting 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. Woo! So me and my coworker went out and got some pizza. Now you got me wanting wings, and I'm like, nah, dude, I already fell off the bandwagon hard with the pizza. I can't do any more. Why you gotta tempt me like that, C-dubs? Why you gotta tempt me with the pizza? Or not with the pizza, but with the wings. Get both, but I don't want to do it. I don't like the delay. Let's see for the scaling, let's see. If I delete this key, at least we won't get that pop anymore. That looks so bad. Oh, you're right. Yes. Shutter offset. Well, I don't have the motion blur turned on yet, but I mean, I could add some motion blur. I think shutter offset 0.5, isn't that correct? Yeah, I turned it on, but then I just turned it off to get faster playback. I think it's the scaling changes that are bothering me, because it like keeps bopping open and closed. Keep trying to hit no animation. Delete key. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. That's gonna make a pixel difference, which actually is worth it. I actually don't know what the difference is between the centered and start. What is the difference between the motion blur and the centered and start? Oh, I guess it's, so the motion blur starts on the start of the frame versus the center of the frame or the end of the frame, and it's calculating the motion blur based off of that? Is that basically what's going on? Oh, it's the reference frame. Okay. I'm not gonna cap. That actually strangely looks better already. When you work on things that go on a 75-foot screen, pixels are huge. 100%. Yeah. Most of the content I work on doesn't go on a 75-foot screen. I wish, but no, alas, I don't. I work on a lot of streaming content, so stuff that goes like Netflix originals and HBO Max originals, and well, now Max, we call it Max. But yeah, no, so the pixel sizes are definitely different on those types of screens. I think, let's see, with our transform here, after the transform happens, let's go ahead and add in like a glow. And on this glow, let's just like change the tolerance to like a 0.02 should be fine. I want to change the brightness to 0.5 and our saturation. So I want to have like more of like an exponential fall off on our glow here. So let's just go ahead and change the saturation to like a 0.5, and then the size here, we could probably just, I don't know, make like a 17. I'm gonna merge this onto our footage. So let's grab this glow. I'm gonna move this over here to the side. If we just merge that back on top of it. And I'm going to do this as like a screen multiplier. Should be fine. Let's go ahead and add another glow in. And I'll just set the tolerance to like 0.5. And we could change the brightness here to something like a 0.75. And the saturation, again, we'll change that to, I don't know, like another 0.75 should be fine. And the size can be set to a bit larger. Or sorry, smaller. I'm going to add another merge node in. Do that on another screen. And I'm going to probably just clean this up a little bit so that way this doesn't get crazy. Let's see. Let's add another. I think that's fine. I'm going to add another glow in that's kind of over top of everything here. That's going to be kind of like a outside glow. So if I change our tolerance on this guy to, let's do like a 0.1. Change our brightness to be something a little bit brighter. Saturation, let's just make that like a 0.8. And let's make this size massive, something like a 500. Oops. Let's type that. And I'm gonna only get the effect. Although let's make this like a 400. Instead of another glow, try blurring it 300 pixels and then plussing it over around the... Yeah, okay, I could try blurring it. I mean, it's probably going to give us the same result as what we're doing here. But it might be faster on the comp. I mean, it's going to give us very similar results, right? Yeah, blur's way cheaper. Yeah, that's probably a smarter way of doing it. I always just added like another glow as like your additional glow that you're doing on everything. Okay, let's try this, and I'm just going to use a plus node. Yeah, that looks great. Fantastic. Then toss another? Okay, let's try it. I'll do it. I take suggestions here. Technically speaking, I think this whole thing's supposed to be on this side here. Okay. Ignore my bad comping here, okay? I mean, I would probably... Oh, whoops, not... That's what... There's somewhere around there. And that's going to be over your overall image. Kind of line this up with our hand a little bit better. Lots of blue glowy things. Yeah, I'll mess around with the transparency here in a second. I just wanted to see. This is really bothering me. Okay, and then this last one, you're right, yeah, probably something a lot smaller. I still feel like it would be nice. Yeah, I think that's fine. Got 0.3. .003? I feel like that's not going to do anything. Yeah, that's not doing anything, friend. I think we're looking at a 0.3 here. Oh, not a 3. 0.3. Just ever so slightly coloring it. It's not doing too much. Granted, this is the blur that we're doing here. So we can blur it even more. But I feel like this is about what we want. Let's see. I'm thinking we're gonna have to roto this hand here as it goes in front of the magic, because it just looks incorrect right now. Although that's not gonna be too difficult to do. Okay, actually, I'm curious, LazyCon, how would I go about doing a roto if I can't do a float, like having the bee kind of just like floating out there? What would be the better method of doing it? Let me know. I am interested in doing that better. Turn the merge node operation to mask, and then put your mask into the A pipeline. What? You can do that? Okay, actually, that is slightly different than what people were saying on my last live stream. So they were saying doing the B, kind of like B pipeline method here. That's interesting. Okay, so let me try that real quick. So you add a merge node. You put the B is plugged into that of the hand. RGBA. Wow, okay. That certainly does clean things up a little bit better. Then you have a mix control and it doesn't mess with your resolution. That's actually really cool. Vertical pipeline and B pipeline is different. I couldn't tell you, man. I didn't go to school for VFX, self-taught. I'm just learning about these different pipeline things now. It's not like this isn't just like my job every single day of my life right now is doing visual effects, but you know, hey, you got to learn sometime, right? I think the problem also is that I don't work at a large studio. Can you not invert? Well, that's more annoying, actually. I don't work at a large studio, so like it's almost like I just do freelance because of how my workflow is. And you have the control of... Oh, that's actually really cool. But to answer your question earlier, Keysign, yes, I did work on some Netflix films. I don't really work in television all that much. The only television that I worked on was I worked on the show Ted Lasso, and I worked on For All Mankind. Worked on both those shows these last year. And then the movies that I've worked on, you can check out my IMDb. I'm on IMDb, so you can see me there. You can see all the kind of stuff that you work on, or sorry, that I work on. I must be in LA. I am in LA, yes. The land of the fruits and nuts. And oranges. We have good oranges here. Okay, I'm just gonna kind of like create this. I want the hand to kind of like somewhat live in the magic. You can always tell an LA comper by their pipe. Aww. No. Don't put all of compers on my bad habits, okay? That's not fair. LA compers are what, more lazy or something like that? Hey man, I wasn't taught how to do visual effects, so I am learning these things as we're going here. One thing I've learned about doing this YouTube channel, I've been doing YouTube for these streams for the last like 6 months, and one thing you learn very quickly is that everybody has an opinion on what you need to do, and if you want to listen to everybody, then go for it. But you know, I also kind of just take everything with a bit of a grain of salt because everybody has a different pipeline, and every company is going to have you do different things anyways. But I'm here to learn, so doing this kind of like A and B input is really cool, actually, and I think will certainly help in a lot of the areas that I'm doing. Also, kind of like having the B pipeline go all the way up. That's something I learned last week. You know, I know where my stuff is, but just because I know where it is doesn't mean it's good for other people. And I generally don't work with other artists like on a daily basis, so no one's looking at my comps. Just sloppier and basic. Oh, well, okay, hey, that's not everybody in LA. I'm in school for VFX, and I was always told by a teacher my script is messy. Yeah, and now you look at my comp and you're like, wow, yours is actually 1,000 times better. Right? Now just show your teacher my comp and then be like, yeah, this guy, he has really messy comp. I'm an inspiration to the masses, guys. Take the roto out of the pipe. Oh, you're right. I don't know why that was in the pipe. It wasn't before. I don't know when that happened. I had it already to the side. What the heck was that? No, I always do it this way. I mean, you could just have that floating, but I always do it this way. It just makes it easier. I'll be honest. The reason why I do this is another bad habit. Maybe I shouldn't mention that I do this. A lot of the projects that I work on, if it's just like a quick shot, then I don't change the actual file format size. And if this is just floating here, then it is whatever the resolution of, like, what is it, like 2K flat or square or something like that. So I usually just plug this in to be safe, because then, like, when you're looking at it, you can actually see that the format is set correctly. You could also see what you're rotoing on top of, which is really helpful. But yeah. My instructor from Pixamondo told me to use, usually at your scripts get critiqued by the seniors all the time. Yeah. Your scripts will get critiqued by seniors all the time. That is true though. But LazyCon, that's kind of like the point, right? So like anytime I change like anything upstream, my roto will be adjusted with it. But I can see your point is like you don't want your roto to be adjusted. But I guess I'm thinking that like I will want everything to kind of like go down the totem pole correctly. I mean, I'm not opposed to just having it this way. By the way, I've always been curious. I always just threw an edge blur in here to blur the edges of my roto. Is that incorrect to do? I've always kind of wondered. You're right, I am rotoing the plate, not the element. It's a good point. It's a fair point. Very valid point. Just blur, don't edge blur a roto. It doesn't have any real effect. I just feel like, okay, I want to show you because I've done this before. I've tried both elements before. Just look at the alpha here. And let's say I'm going to blur it about 100. Similar, it's probably going to be different. I guess they are remarkably similar. The blur actually works better. Alright, fine. We'll swap over. You've convinced me yet again to do better practices. Guys, look at this. By the end of this stream, I'm going to be a pro. I hate that tracking. Chuck, if you want to go high on the edge blur. True. And it also does kind of like slow your comp down unnecessarily. It makes it a lot heavier than it has to be. That works really nicely. I like that. You know what we could also do? Let's, I have some kind of like atmospheric. Yeah, let's try this. Let's try something like this evaporation fog. Let's try a VFX challenge on Discord eventually. I mean, that's the goal. I do have a Discord, by the way, so if you guys aren't joined on the Discord, links in the description. Also, all the assets I'm using today are also, there's a link in the description to what I'm using on Action VFX. A lot of great assets here. And it's a referral link, so I'll get a little bit of a kickback if you guys click on that. Because times are hard right now, guys. These strikes were crazy last year. Okay. I'm going to add a transform node in here, and we'll do the same thing. We'll just reformat. Would you say since I'm out of work from the strikes, still learning Houdini? Oh, dude! Houdini's great. I have gotten a little bit into it. I just it's quite the beast, man. There's a lot to it, and I mostly used it because I've been doing everything in Blender since I was like 10. I've mostly used it as a render node, so I would animate everything and create everything in Blender, and then I would use an Alembic file inside of Houdini to do all of my rendering and finishing, because I had Arnold Renderer, and unfortunately the renderers don't get updated for Blender, so like you just have to use cycles and that's it, and that's kind of annoying. Can't Blender fix that? That would be nice if they could fix that. I'm going to add like a layer of atmospherics in here. And if we go view this over here, I'm going to do something like screen, I think. We get all this lovely fog in here, but we don't want the fog. Instead, we're going to use... Let's do this over here, actually, instead. That's fine to be down there. I want... Is it going to be this? Probably this guy right here. Let's take him, and then I'm going to... desaturate it. Let's just boost it as well. And that's just going to take the result of our blur node here. And this is super messy right now. Can you explain Action VFX subscriptions? If I have a subscription, can I download unlimited assets? It depends on which subscription you have. They have the different tier levels. I don't know them terribly well, but if you do have the there's different tier levels, and some of them allow you to access, I think, all of the assets. Like the Elite one, I think, allows you to access everything, whereas the other ones have access to like a good amount of assets. So it kind of depends on really what type of assets you're looking at. You can see all of their different tiers. Let's see, where is that at? They should have it here on the front page. Which, by the way, I did this VFX shot, this helicopter shot, so that's a shot I did for them. Let's see. Do they not have this around here somewhere? Join AVX Plus. There you go. So these are the different tier levels, and then if you go look at their different assets that they have, they'll tell you on each of these assets which ones are included. Yeah, this is like gold, so you'll get this with like the gold one. This is elite. This is silver. Silver. So if you go through the library and you're like, oh, these are a lot of the assets that I want, then just find the one that has like the tier level that you want and go for that subscription. Any reason you like screen over plus for something like this? For plus, I don't know. It kind of depends. I tend to find that like if it's not something that I want to lighten the scene, I'm not going to plus it. I usually just use screen for this type of thing. I feel like I've heard that plus is more technically accurate. Would you say practice or send it to India? Yeah, that's fair. But yeah, I don't know. I think I've heard that plus is technically more accurate for the transition layer. Old habits die hard. I came from like using After Effects was I learned composite in the first place, and I don't think they had a plus in that. I think everything was just screen, and that's where I'm like, I just continue to use it to this day. I will say, let's see, let's take a look at our smoke here. If I add a grade node in, I'm gonna just make this blue, because again, it's being illuminated by our kind of foggy glow effect that we're having here. It's not tracking with our scene, and that is actually going to be problematic. So let's go ahead and fix that. I don't like to have tracker nodes sitting inside of my pipeline. I feel like it makes it slow. I don't know if that's just in my head or not, but I always just stick them off to the side here. Just track that. I use screen when the reflections are involved. Otherwise, I tend to stick with plus or max. Yeah, I use screen all the time for like screens. So like cell phone screens and things like that, I tend to use screen for everything there. Use a match move. Let's see. should work just fine. Let's set this to global here real quick, and then... Oh, ha 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 ha. Time offset. There you go. I just can't read. It should work nicely. Let's go look at our shot here. And then should use link through if you want to change your track or figure out what the tracker node used for the transform. It's easy to find. Should use true. Okay, that's fair. I don't like using linked because I tend to use the same tracker for a bunch of different tracks, possibly in a scene. Although that's a fair point. I just tend to. I do YouTube. I've been a film/TV compositor in my real life job for 14 years. Oh, fantastic. But no, I tend to not, because like if I wanted to have multiple tracks, that way I don't have to have a bunch of trackers here. So like I've tracked this element, for instance, but let's say I wanted to do a separate track of her hand. I like to have it in the same thing, so I just bake it. But I mean, it's a fair point to not lose where things are at, but I always have my trackers plugged in at the very top of my entire node stack, so I don't really lose it. In fact, actually, most of the time I plug it in like this. So, yeah, I don't know. That's just the way I do that. I'm going to make this a little more blue for the environment here. And make it a lot less for, it's just too abrasive right now. Rarely do you have one tracker. I mean, if you like 7 trackers too. I don't know. I always just, I guess to me it's just made sense to always have it in one area. Unless, of course, there are things that I want to update, and that tends to be like pipeline things. So if I'm doing the same shot but like 20 times in a sequence, then I'll probably end up using the linked tracking, because then it just makes it way freaking easier to kind of connect everything. But I'm like open to change on it too. I'm not like hard stuck on doing it this method. Oh wait, I don't want to do that. Oh, what is this? Now on a cheap. Oh, right, you're talking to him. Okay. It's like, well, hey, I don't work on Marvel level visual effects, so I couldn't be the one that you're talking to about that. Though, do tell. Getting a really hard line here that I am not a fan of, so just trying to fix that. I think that's coming from this guy here, is it not? Oh, there it is. I'm an idiot. I'm going to take this grade node and then just boost it up a little bit. What is the secret, by the way? I mean, I'll be honest, a lot of it is just, it depends on if you want to work in a studio or not. If you're working in a studio, then it's just working in a studio and working your way up, by the way. Though I imagine that LazyCon would be able to give you a better recommendation on how to do that kind of stuff. However, if you are just trying to get into visual effects in general, and you're like working in university, and there's a lot of, or you're not working in university, but you're currently in university, so you're looking into your options, I would probably recommend just starting doing freelance work. Do short films, do really anything you get your hands on. It's all just practice. And there's a lot of people that want to have short films these days. Also, it's hard because AI and how that's changing the industry. I would say learn as many tools as you can. Don't get stuck in like the old ways of the traditional methods. Just by the way, you're doing fine. I loved Tech Vector Pass is the normal thing. Oh, thanks, man. I'm feeling like I'm being judged here. No, I'm just kidding. No, this is a fun. No, it's definitely not negative. I really love getting this kind of feedback, because what's great about doing these streams is that it's like you get a live audience to kind of like perceptually see what you're working on and like how to create things. And I mean, I don't know. This is something that I found, at least with visual effects, is that there's many ways to do things, and just because I do it one way doesn't mean it's the correct way. There are other ways that potentially are better, and you have already taught me several different methods to kind of doing things a little bit cleaner and faster in your comp, and I really appreciate that. So thank you actually for your tips and tricks so far. Has been educational so far for me. Okay, I think if we take that, that will light up the atmospheric, but nice. Just by the way, usually those are teams of hundreds of people. Yeah, totally. I mean, working on large studios is like that, right? My experience with what I've done, and you can even see this on like if you go to like my IMDb or something like that. A lot of the projects that I'm working on, very small teams. Or freelance work type thing, where you're working with not that many artists and you kind of have to wear a lot of hats. So that's the difference. So it kind of depends on which route you want to go. I'm never going to work on Marvel films because when you work on a small studio, you don't work on things like that. But you get to work on a lot of indie films, and so the kind of like ability and which kind of projects you can work on. Which, by the way, Roush Media, looks like they just commented. That's where I work. So check out their YouTube channel. They have a lot of great stuff that we've been posting on that YouTube channel there. But that's actually where I work. So if you want to check out some of the stuff we do, then just look them up. And see, yeah, most Marvels, yeah, they are farming out to smaller teams, I suppose. When I worked on Ted Lasso, I basically got farmed out as like a contract worker. So I didn't work with a big studio or anything like that. I basically just got hired to do stuff on the side based on that. Oh, I love this atmospheric, says it's getting lit up by the glowing glob. There's a tiny studio called Toronto Soho, and they work on a pretty big. Yeah, I've noticed that at least stuff that gets outsourced, like you'll get like a lot of that kind of stuff happens in smaller studios. I mean, here's a great example of this. On Dune, there's a company called Wiley Co. I think their name is, and they did all of the blue eyes in Dune for Dune Part 1 and Part 2. And it's a really small team of people. I don't know exactly how many people work there, but it's a pretty small company. They did all the blue eye paint outs. They also did all of the paint outs in like the desert, like removing like trees and bushes and things like that. And all of that stuff was done by just a small company. So that stuff does happen. You know, everyone always hears about DNEG or, ILM, but there are a lot of other companies that kind of contribute to these films. hundreds of companies that contribute to these films. You're just not going to be adding the spaceships into your shot. I like that. Okay, let's do, let's see. We got some more atmospheric stuff. Maybe we add some electrical arcs and stuff like that. All that little stuff isn't just done by one company. Nope, it's done by a bunch of people. Thousands of people from different companies. Dust particles. I like that. I guess I don't have much of the industry. Godzilla -1 had a small team. Yeah, I think they only had like a team of like 30 people. Something crazy like that. It was like a really small crew of people. And same with the film Everywhere, Everything, All at Once. Or Everything, Everywhere. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once was done by like... That was like a really small crew of people. Although to be fair, their visual effects weren't too insane. I mean, they had a lot of compositing shots, but it wasn't like insane 3D stuff like in Godzilla -1. I have to use an offset here. Yeah, it would explain the credits. In After Effects, what are you asking? Godzilla -1 had a small team. Oh, in AE? Are you talking about After Effects? Godzilla -1 stuff is going to hurt us for a while. True. It's going to change expectations on what can be done by small crews of people. Do I want to give a hot take? I don't know if I want to give a hot take. They just won. So I can't, not like anything I say is going to hurt their feelings, but my opinion is, I don't know. Okay, so I didn't watch Godzilla growing up, so the animation style in which they had Godzilla move, I wasn't a huge fan of. Everything else in the entire film was crazy. Like the explosion stuff that they did with her flying away, or no spoilers, sorry, but there's a lot of stuff in the film, okay? They had some airplane shots and some crazy set extension work and whatnot. All of that stuff, phenomenal. To me, though, like, against Napoleon for best visual effects, I would have given it to Napoleon all day long. Their visual effects they had in that film are absolutely stellar. That's just my opinion, though, and I don't know. I don't know what you guys' thoughts are on that. They did just win, and that's awesome. I feel like everyone I talk to about it, though, gets really personal about it and go, well, the movie was absolutely amazing. I'm like, I'm not talking about the movie. The movie itself was actually phenomenal. I loved it. But I just felt like the visual effects weren't the best out of all the movies that they were up against. I don't think Napoleon should have won because they tried to act like they... did they? I don't think so. They released all of their stuff back when the movie got released. There was a quote that was said, and I believe it was taken out of context. It was from Ridley Scott, and he had mentioned something about like, oh, you know, we did that for real. But as far as I know, they released everything before the movie came out and said that it was all done in visual effects. They showed set. They have crazy amount of behind the scenes work. I don't know, you guys probably do follow, but I would recommend following Hugo's Desk. He has a podcast called VFX Notes, and they talked about all that stuff on the podcast. So if you want to learn a little bit more about that, then I would recommend going checking that out. But that's where I saw the behind the scenes of stuff that they released, and they released it all during the whole phase of the film coming out. It wasn't like Barbie. Barbie straight up pretended like visual effects didn't exist in their film. And that is a growing problem in our industry that CGI equal bad type of thing. You know Hugo as in you know Hugo, or you know Hugo as in you know who Hugo is? Now that's the question. No, I don't want to blur on top of blur. What am I doing here? We just take this same thing and then we use that hide input option, and I think that will give us the flurries only around the area in which the thing happens. Oh, from YouTube. Yeah. I was pretty upset as I worked with Ridley Scott before, and he's so great to the VFX. Yeah, I mean, no, I'm pretty sure that quote was just taken out of context, if I remember correctly. I'm like fairly certain that quote was just taken out of context, because I think he was talking about something that they actually did shoot for real, and then of course, you know how everybody is with the news, they took that and then made that the title of every freaking article ever, and then said, oh yeah, there was no VFX in this film, which is stupid. No, they were pretty rough about it. I feel like you're thinking of Barbie, because Barbie, they straight up pretended like things didn't happen in visual effects whatsoever. But I don't know. I'll look into it again today, because I now you got me thinking about it. I'm like really kind of curious. Yeah, Barbie was terrible. In fact, actually, didn't they do that thing where they like took the green screens and then like tried to remove them for all their promotional material? Like, absolutely wild. Absolutely wild. It's kind of sad because I feel like post as a whole, not just visual effects, post as a whole has been treated like it doesn't exist forever now. And believe me, I work at a color finishing facility. They act like that thing doesn't exist at all. And I think that, like, unfortunately, the more and more they push this narrative that visual effects is like bad and people should hate it, I think that is like I think that just makes people think that everything is just shot in camera. You know how many people think like the film is just like shot and there's no color grading that even happens to it? It's crazy. And then of course they don't have any Oscars for any of that kind of stuff, so they do, oh, best cinematography, and then the DP goes up there. It's like, it wasn't just the DP, it's a team of people. Like, it's a lot of people that go into that, and the DP is not even the head of it necessarily. DP is the head of camera, you know? Vector Perez is on today, Node by Nodes. I've always worked with Greta Eloa. She was great too. I've never worked with any of these people, so I couldn't tell you. What I'm going to do though is, every time I tell people I'm going to be a compositor and nobody knows what that is, no, because it doesn't exist, man. VFX bad. VFX bad, don't you know that? Why are you trying to be something that's bad? They think you do animation? Well, basically, right? It's just animation, but I always, you know, the way I always described it was, I say that it is Photoshop, but on video. And then everybody kind of gets that. And then how I describe what color grading is, because nobody knows what that even exists, I say that it is like a filter on Instagram, but more detailed. Okay, I would add lens flares into this, but I don't have lens flares on this computer. Yeah, I don't have OFX plugins. It's so frustrating. And I did get like so there's Flare Rig and like a another flare thing, and I don't know how to use this. It's a gizmo off of Nukepedia, and I've never really used it, so... Oh, they've got instructions. There is a BG background layer, the OCC and mask occlusion, mask layers, and the 5 input for flare, F1, F5. Your elements need to be centered. This gizmo doesn't create flares. You create your own flares with your own elements, and then you'll need to attach the elements to your F layers. Oh, that's a bummer. Well, okay. I do have like another that's just called flare. And maybe this is where I... Oh, that's interesting. Doesn't look cool at all. Yeah, this is where like the OFX lens flares is absolutely insane. Go to presets. For what? It's not on this one. Oh yeah, presets. Here we go. Oh, I just got this the other day, so don't judge me too hard. Let's see the flare position. Let's put that in the center here, and then let's go to presets. Multi-penta, bright, reset all. I'm not a fan of these. I mean, it's hard to be a fan when, like, I've worked with the OFX thing for so long. This looks terrible compared to it. Yeah, oh man. That's rough. I mean, the other thing I could do is, let's see. My thing that I used to do before I had OFX was I would just go into Blender, and then I would add in my flares in Blender, and then I would animate the flare in Blender, and then just export that and put it inside of Nuke. I think the only problem I'm going to have is that this is a floating point in the middle here, and you have to adjust the settings with the presets before you get. Yeah, okay. I mean, that's fair. I just right now I'm not going to do that. I'm running out of time, anyways. I got about 20 minutes left on this stream before I have to call it quits for today. What I am going to do though is let's change scale of that to the center. Just render that real quick. If I had more time, then it would be different. Also, if I had more time, I would just go download the OFX flare, and then I would just import that. But alas, here we are with no time. Why we watch these streams, right? It's for the trying to rush to get a shot done in about 2 hours. Let's see, where did I put that? Temp. Is this gonna even work? Probably should have rendered this out as like JPEGs. It's actually, oh, I should close that. Don't save. I'm going to save it to the same folder, but as a JPEG sequence. JPG. JPG! doesn't like a good JPG? Go render that out. Also, new sub. I find the streams real helpful. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for subscribing. So basically network TV timelines? Yeah. It's either network television or indie filmmaking, if you've ever done that. Indie filmmaking is like, hey, you've got an hour to do... you know, actually, on this particular shot, if I had to do this shot for a film, for all the films that I work on, they would give me probably about 2 hours to do it. Maybe 3. So I would have 3 hours total to do this shot. Not even joking. Like, just straight up, that's how long I would have. And then if you ask for more, because you're like, oh, it'd be nice to get more, then you don't get the job, because somebody in their basement's going to do it for $25 an hour, and and they'll do it, you know, in like whatever amount of time. But that's the competition. And honestly, that's the biggest problem with like the indie film market right now, is that there's no, or it's not even indie, it's just visual effects, right? It's the problem with the visual effects market. Okay, so the reason why I scaled that down is inside of Blender here, I can have my starting frame at 1000. And what is the 1060? And then let's turn this to an image sequence, and then we'll set the frames to... So we go to the head of the shot here. Perfect. Now I've got just the point of where everything is going to be at inside of Blender. This isn't ideal, but you know, it is what it is sometimes. And what we can do is we'll just animate this guy to move. The reason I do this on my computer like this, instead of getting OFX, is OFX is expensive, and this is my home computer. So, and Blender is free, and this particular plugin is like $5 in Blender. So, it's like extra work for me to do this. Yeah, so here's my thought on like VFX unions. I think it's like not a bad idea, but also in the same breath, like my fear is for the unions as a whole, is that maybe potentially if unions push a little too hard, that filmmakers can just force non-union work, and then they'll only hire non-union people, so that way they don't get flipped. And I mean, I don't know the legality on how any of this stuff works, but like other countries, they don't work with unions, not like what we do. So what does that mean for the future? Is like filmmaking just moving outside of the US? I don't know. But, you know, the artists aren't really protected right now, you know, against overwork, especially at large studios. It's crazy. Actually, it looks really cool being small. It's like that, like Harry Potter. It looks like the Harry Potter soul that comes out of the dude's mouth, Sirius Black's mouth. If you're catering on set and editing can have unions, there's no reason we can't. True. That's very true. I agree. It'd be like one of the most powerful unions in the world too, because everybody needs VFX. Especially, I think it'll happen, and I think it'll happen this year too, or very soon. with how Sora AI is coming about and things like that, I think that it's not far off whatsoever. Alright, so then I'll just make this like a black backdrop here. And we can do a couple different types of flares. I'm feeling like we stick to this maybe. We'll just go full sci-fi on it. I'm not a fan of this particular flare because I feel like it looks so fake. Probably just stick with something simple like an anamorphic flare. I could just take out the red. Or we could just do something nice and simple, which I tend to be more of a fan of. And let's see, glow main, just turn that off. Actually, it's the shimmer that we really probably want to get rid of, the streaks. It looks like a Naruto Powerball, yeah. Alright, I think overall we're fine with like kind of like a general glow that's going to kind of happen here. That's going to work nicely, I think. So let's go ahead and render this out. I'm running out of time here, guys. We got to get this going. X material effects. And we'll go ahead and place this inside of here. Call that FG2, and I think I'm gonna do an open EXR. What is my color management on this computer set to? Oh, it's set to film light linear. Okay, I mean this isn't ideal, but this shot isn't going to anybody, so I'm just gonna set this to PNG actually. And let's render that out. We're just using EV anyways. We'll use a plus multiplier inside of Nuke. I think Lionsgate is making a Naruto movie. Are they? Do they own the rights to it? I thought the rights were bought by Netflix. Because I feel like Netflix has gone through and bought like every single anime rights for like everything. A live action Naruto, dude. Back in the day, that was like Raka Raka on YouTube. OG Raka Raka fans would know. Use a plus. And let's see, this has to be set to... Oh, it's not linear. I mean, actually, my problem is I don't know what my color management settings are on this particular version of Blender, so whatever looks the best, right? Alright, let's play this back and see what we got. Fix it in post. Yeah, yeah, don't worry about it. Doesn't matter how it's filmed, right? We'll fix it in post. That's one of my favorite statements of all time, because that is a very true statement in the indie world. It is just how it works, man. We always fix things in post. There's no such thing as fixing it before post, because why would we do that? Especially when you can fix it in post, right? This flare is so aggressive and it doesn't look real. Yeah. That is true. So is it film and TV? I don't know. Well, for the fix it in post line, I feel like it tends to be more TV and low budget. Every hour on set costs tens of oh, okay. I was like $10, man. That's a cheap film, compared to hundreds in posts. Oh, yeah, okay, that's fair. I mean, yeah, it's really fair. I don't like that. Stop speaking the truth. It makes me angry. I actually say that, like, if you spend an extra 15 minutes on set to fix something, it'll save you thousands of dollars in posts. And maybe that 15 minutes costs a lot of money, but like I have a feeling that it's going to be cheaper than not, right? I think this is the shot, guys. I am running out of time for today's stream. It does keep us employed, and you know what? It makes me happy. So here's the shot. I mean, it's pretty cool. I like it. It's got a lot of flaws with it still, but I think overall I'm pretty happy with how this turned out, as in the little time frame we gave ourselves. If you guys want to grab this footage and any of these assets, just go to below the stream here. You can just find all of the Action VFX practice footage here. The gizmo I used for the normal thing is right here as well. Join our Discord. We got a great new community going on here of people that are very talented, like myself. No, I'm just kidding. But they're all giving great advice and tips and tricks, as well as sharing their own work. So if you want to check out that, then go ahead and do that. And I'd love to see you guys there. I post all of my finished artwork on there. This is not the only live stream I do. I do another live stream on the weekends where we create a CG shot from scratch. This coming weekend, I'll be doing a shot on Saturday instead of Sunday. Normally I stream on Sundays. This time I'm streaming on a Saturday. And we create a shot from scratch, and you can put all your recommendations of what you would like to have in there. Yeah, next time I'd say use the element for drive the lighting. That's fair, actually. Well, actually, I kind of am using the element to... Well, you're right. I'm not flickering her face based off of the element, which you could totally use. All right, screw it. We got a few minutes. Let's do it. I think we can use the curve tool. And if we just drop that in here, we could actually set the curve tool like a specific portion of the image. So let's say it's like right here. You can say what the average intensities are. So let's just go to the beginning of the sequence. I'll probably do something like... Let's do the overall average of like this general top area here. And if you go, it'll go through the entire sequence and then animate the entire sequence based off of like this whole section here. And it'll give you the intensity range, I think, as we're going. Did that not work? Where's my intensity data? There it is. And that'll give you like what the color intensity value is on the whole shot as a whole. It's not as flickery, but it can drive our color that we're trying to use. So then our grade node that we're using here, yeah, curve tool is amazing. It's like my favorite. Well, I meant that you're not using the animation for the motion of the element to drive the lighting as well. Well, I mean, that's fair. again, you know, there's a bunch of ways we could do this, but like you could just use this curve tool here to kind of like drive the overall lighting on her face, because that's what we're using here. Is this node, and we can adjust our mix based off of the like intensity values that we're getting from this curve tool, and we can use that to basically drive the mix as it's going. But you know, unfortunately I have to go because at like 10 I have to basically get to work. But yeah, so guys, thank you for joining the stream. If you guys liked the video, then hit that like button and subscribe below. And I look forward to seeing you guys next week. We'll be doing another compositing shot on next Tuesday. And I have a video going live here soon as well. A little tutorial video on how to do some like kind of like adding dirt and grime into your scenes. So thanks for joining, guys, and I will see you guys on the flippity flop when we do another stream. Peace out, and I'll see you guys next time.